a land of endless rolling green hills. Where towering cliffs rise majestically before the sea. At the westernmost edge of Europe, an island stands as a rugged final punctuation mark before the vast Atlantic Ocean. A place of rolling green hills divided by ancient stone walls. A culture shaped by a history as deep and turbulent as the sea that surrounds it. This is Ireland. From above, the island looks like a giant patchwork quilt. Ireland is often celebrated for its legendary 40 shades of green. But that beauty comes at a price: the rain. In some parts of the West Coast, it rains as much as 225 days a year, a number even surpassing the rainy city of Seattle. However, it is precisely this humidity that gives the landscape such vibrant life. If you look closely, you'll see verdant hills crisscrossed by a network of ancient stone walls. Amazingly, their total length is over 250,000 miles, enough to wrap around the Earth 10 times. With nearly 2,000 miles of coastline, Ireland's landscape is a picture of dramatic extremes. The west coast is characterized by towering, wild cliffs, day and night battling the raging power of the Atlantic, while the east coast is more tranquil with gently sloping, sandy bays. However, the soul of this island lies not only in its scenery. It is a nation existing parallel to two time periods. On one hand, it possesses mysterious relics like the Newgrange Catacombs, a structure predating the Giza pyramids by 500 years. On the other hand, Ireland today is a booming global technology hub, home to the European headquarters of giants like Google, Apple, and Meta. Despite its modernity, the true rhythm of Irish life is remarkably slow. Things here aren't swept up in the hustle and bustle of New York or Los Angeles. Instead, life is guided by the changing seasons and weather. For the Irish, rain is not a meteorological barrier, it is a companion. They affectionately call misty mornings a mild day. They don't complain, but accept it as part of their homeland's identity. This deep connection with nature has forged the character of the natives. It creates people who are incredibly patient, possess a sharp sense of humor, enjoy self-deprecation, and always appreciate the rare beauty of a sunny afternoon. In Ireland, a perfectly sunny day is never taken lightly. It is this resilience in the face of harsh weather that has forged a truly unique social life. The Republic of Ireland is home to approximately 5.3 million people, a number roughly equivalent to the population of the U.S. state of South Carolina. Yet, its cultural influence extends globally. In the U.S. alone, there are over 31 million people of Irish descent, 6 times the population of the country itself. The island's small size creates a rare sense of unity, where the entire nation sometimes feels like one complex, yet incredibly close-knit, extended family. Leaving the major cities, you venture into the rural heartland, or the coastal strips known as Gaelic, where Old Irish is still spoken daily. In these areas, anonymity is unthinkable. A walk to the grocery store to buy a newspaper and bread is never just a chore. It's a social ritual. Along the way, you'll stop to greet people, chat about the weather, or engage in heated debates about the local Gaelic sports team. And you know what? This sport is very special. They play in the vast Croke Park Stadium with a capacity of 82,000 seats, the size of an NFL football stadium in the US, but all the players are amateurs. They take to the field not for money, but for the pride of their community. The rhythm of daily life here always begins with familiar sounds: church bells, milk delivery trucks, cheerful greetings over wooden fences. Instead of pushing huge shopping carts in soulless supermarkets like in America, people prefer to visit the butcher shop, the bakery, or the family-run produce stand. The shopkeeper knows your name, knows your family, and even knows what you intend to buy. It's not a transaction, it's a connection. If houses are sturdy fortresses against wind and rain, the teapot is the heart of the home. The Irish consume a huge amount of tea, averaging nearly 5 pounds per person a year, far exceeding the American coffee habit. A freshly brewed cup of hot tea is a testament to the absolute hospitality of the people here. The phrase "Cead mille failte," meaning 100,000 welcomes, is not a cliché tourist slogan. It is the DNA of this culture. Family is the ultimate foundation. Many generations often live on the same street, creating a strong, protective circle for children growing up. When hardship strikes, the Irish have a concept called Mithil. In the past, Mithil was when the whole village gathered to harvest crops or build houses. Today, it might be a fundraising event in a community hall to help a family in need. Similar to the strong spirit of volunteerism in small American towns, the Irish have an unwavering belief that the happiness of an individual is the responsibility of the entire community. This is not a relic of the past, it is how they live each day. And that robust community network is supported by an equally resilient material foundation. Land and sea have always been the lifeblood shaping the Irish people. For centuries, the economy has been deeply rooted in agriculture, and even today, the rhythm of the fields guides life in much of the country. Look closely at the landscape, you will see a beautiful mosaic. Compact fields divided by stone hedges, a perfect farming system maintained through countless generations. Dairy farming is a huge industry. Thanks to the Atlantic rains, the pastures here are always green year-round. Irish dairy cows are free-range and graze on fresh grass for up to 300 days a year. A stark contrast to the huge industrial farms in America. The result is the production of top-quality butter and cheese. In fact, the Irish brand Kerrygold butter is currently the second best-selling butter in the United States. Further west, in the rugged terrain, resilient sheep roam the hillsides. Their wool is the soul of the legendary Aran sweaters, where each crisscross pattern carries the story of a traditional fishing family. Along the coast, from County Donegal down to Cork, fishing remains a harsh but proud livelihood. The sight of trawlers returning to port each day is the clearest evidence of the ocean's abundance and a reminder of the courage of those who dare to face the fierce Atlantic Ocean. But that's only half the story. The Irish economy today is a picture of spectacular transformation. While rural areas hold on to tradition, the nation is plunging into the modern world at an astonishing pace. In cities like Dublin, Cork, and Galway, a completely different energy source is now dominant. Thanks to the economic boom known as the Celtic Tigers, Ireland is now considered the Silicon Valley of Europe. More than 900 American corporations operate here. From Apple and Google to pharmaceutical giants like Pfizer, all have their European headquarters on the island. A new generation of young Irish entrepreneurs is rising, building a knowledge-based, agile, and innovative economy. Ireland has achieved something extraordinary, preserving its traditional rural soul while rising to become a global powerhouse. This contrast is strikingly stark. You can start your morning on a windswept peninsula, watching sheep graze on ancient lands, and just 2.5 hours drive later, you're in the heart of a bustling city, a leader in global technological innovation. In the US, a 2.5-hour drive might not even get you past the boundaries of Los Angeles, but in Ireland, that brief journey will take you through centuries of historical transformation. No matter how rapid the pace of modernization, the core of this transformation remains firmly rooted in traditional cultural heritage. In Ireland, music is more than just something to listen to. It's a social glue, a heartbeat that shapes daily life, and at the heart of that heartbeat are the local pubs. Unlike the noisy bars in America, where all eyes are glued to sports screens, Irish pubs are truly the community's living room. They're where people celebrate a baptism, seek solace after a funeral, or debate every move of the local sports team. A short conversation at the bar can turn complete strangers into lifelong friends. The island's traditions aren't housed in museum glass cases. They're alive and celebrated every day. The clearest example is the Gaelic language, also known as Irish. Even though English is the most common language of communication, the Irish language remains the heartbeat of the culture. Like the efforts to preserve the language of Native Americans, Irish is carefully guarded, taught as a compulsory subject in schools, and still spoken daily in the West Coast regions. Hearing it spoken is like hearing the echoes of thousands of years of history. The Irish are masters of storytelling. Don't forget that this small island has produced 4 Nobel Prize-winning writers. A good story here is cherished like a precious gem. This spirit is infused into traditional musical performances known as Cuisine. There are no VIP stages or rock stars. It's an impromptu gathering where musicians sit around a table, play music, and connect everyone in the room through a shared, egalitarian experience. Beneath the melodies lies a deep cultural pride. It was born from a turbulent history marked by devastating famines in the mid-19th century, which drove millions of Irish people to migrate to America in search of a better life. But they persevered, resilient and strong. This pride explodes globally on St. Patrick's Day. Interestingly, the grand parades we see today originated in America. But in Ireland itself, the holiday holds a deeper meaning. It's a day of community parades, family reunions, and music. And if music is the soul, then sport is the heartbeat of the Irish. Every weekend, that pride converges on the pitches of the Gaelic Athletic Association, GAA. Gaelic football and hurling are ancient sports. Hurling, in particular, is a high-speed, intense game played with wooden sticks and a leather ball. The ball can reach speeds of over 90 miles per hour. As fast as a fastball pitch in Major League Baseball, these clubs are the heart of every neighborhood, the inseparable bond that unites an entire community. But to truly understand the source of that community strength and resilience, you have to look at their land itself. The landscape here is not just a backdrop. It is a living character, a source of inspiration, and the DNA of the entire nation. Venturing inland, you'll encounter vast peat bogs, covering nearly a sixth of the country's land area. They act as giant natural carbon sequestration machines, holding historical secrets spanning thousands of years. But the real drama lies along the coastline. To the north, the Giant's Causeway stretches out into the ocean with approximately 40,000 interwoven hexagonal basalt columns. This masterpiece was created by volcanic power 60 million years ago. From that angular basalt landscape, extending down to the fjords that cut deep into the land in the southwest, Ireland emerges with a wild, untamed beauty. Exploring nature barefoot is a national passion. Walking through unspoiled landscapes like Connemara, you'll experience absolute tranquility. Underfoot is a soft, fluffy carpet of grass. The air carries the earthy, distinctive scent of peat, and the wind whistles incessantly in your ears. Further west, on the Aran Islands, you'll witness a miracle of hard work. Generations of farmers have cleared barren lands by hand, creating a colossal labyrinth of stone walls stretching 1,500 miles. If laid end to end, they could span half the United States. These aren't just boundaries dividing fields. They are monuments celebrating human resilience against harsh nature. Today, Ireland is a modern nation. Its highway network allows you to travel from one end to the other in hours. But the true soul of the island lies in its winding, narrow village roads. Known locally as Boreen, literally meaning road for cows, forget the wide 8-lane federal highways of America. Driving on a boreen is an adventure. Each bend might reveal the ruins of a 15th century castle, or simply require you to pull over and patiently wait for a herd of dairy cows to leisurely cross. Here, waving to oncoming traffic isn't polite, it's an unwritten rule. And while America relies heavily on domestic flights and private cars, Ireland boasts a quiet and incredibly efficient public transport system. Railways crisscross the verdant heart of the countryside, offering views you'd never see from the paved road. In the major cities, a network of high-speed trams and buses serves hundreds of thousands of people daily. That's the magic of Ireland. You could live in a quaint thatched roof house, nestled quietly at the end of a dirt road steeped in history. But just a 15-minute drive away, you'll be in a modern town, connected to super-fast fiber-optic internet and enjoying all the conveniences of the 21st century. This seamless blend of millennia of history and technological future is the true rhythm of life on this island. The direct interaction between barren land, harsh climate, and human hands not only created the infrastructure but also directly shaped their food. Irish cuisine is not at all elaborate. It is a direct result of the terrain, climate, and fierce historical events. The first foundation must be the potato. In the mid-19th century, this crop was the sole source of livelihood for millions of poor farmers. When a plague devastated the potato fields in 1845, it created an unprecedented demographic catastrophe. More than 1 million people died of starvation, and millions more were forced to migrate to the east coast of the United States. To this day, Ireland is one of the few countries in the world whose current population is even lower than it was 180 years ago. Besides potatoes, the second foundation of Irish cuisine is meat and dairy. In the United States, millions of cows are typically kept in huge industrial farms and fed on cornmeal. But in Ireland, thanks to year-round rainfall, the pastures are always lush and green. Herds of cows graze freely outdoors for up to 300 days a year. This diet provides superior ingredients, from rich, dark yellow butter to world-famous lamb stew with carrots and onions. Home baking is also highly scientific. Ireland's cold and humid climate makes it impossible to grow durum wheat. Their soft flour doesn't react well with conventional yeast. Therefore, the Irish invented soda bread. They utilized the chemical reaction between the acid in buttermilk and baking soda to make the loaf rise. The Irish breakfast menu is a complete contrast to that of the United States. While Americans favor quick, sugary breakfasts like pancakes drizzled with syrup, the Irish breakfast is a different story. A traditional, full Irish bacquaw or breakfast is a plate packed with protein. It includes pork sausage, bacon, fried eggs, and especially black pudding. A sausage stuffed with pork blood, fat, and oats. This meal was originally designed to energize farmers preparing to work in the biting cold of the fields. The final contrast lies in beverage culture. In American cities, people are accustomed to seeing office workers rushing to their takeout coffee cups. In Ireland, people reject that rush. They are one of the world's largest consumers of tea. Tea is not just a beverage, it's a physical communication tool. Whether you're visiting a friend's house, attending a gathering, or just experiencing a significant event, the first thing an Irishman does is always put a kettle on the stove, pour boiling water over black tea leaves, add a little fresh milk, and ask you to sit down. That's the most practical way to let them know you're safe. Young Irish people today enter life with a huge advantage. Over 60% of young people here hold a university degree, a rate that beats the European average and surpasses even the United States. By the time they turn 18, tens of thousands of young people pack their bags and leave the quiet countryside for urban centers like Dublin, Cork, or Galway. Just like young Americans flock to Wall Street in New York or the biotechnology hubs of Boston, these young Irish people stay in the cities to seek opportunities at the global technology and pharmaceutical giants that have taken root there. This urban boom inevitably creates a wave of migration, but there is a core difference in how the Irish connect with their homeland. In the US, a software engineer leaving the Midwest for Silicon Valley might only fly home once a year for Thanksgiving. Meanwhile, the entire length of the island of Ireland is only about 300 miles. This is roughly the distance from Boston to Philadelphia. As a result, every Friday afternoon, Ireland's highways witness a massive reverse migration. Thousands of office workers, programmers, and even doctors are willing to drive for 3 to 4 hours to leave the city. They return to their remote parishes, have dinner with their families, and most importantly, to play for their village football team on Sunday morning. Their perseverance in driving hundreds of miles each weekend, regardless of the weather, just to wear the colors of their hometown club, is the strongest evidence of their unwavering loyalty to their roots. However, the Irish government is realistic enough to understand that love of homeland alone is not enough to save the rural areas. Their biggest challenge now is to shift the economic momentum from the bustling East Coast to the undeveloped West Coast. Their solution is groundbreaking. They are renovating old pubs and movie theaters in small towns into co-working spaces equipped with ultra-fast fiber optic internet. The goal is for a data engineer to earn a globally recognized salary while sitting at a keyboard right in the coastal village where they grew up. It's not just an economic plan, it's the only lifeline for small towns to escape the death sentence of an aging population and continue to thrive in this new era. Life in Ireland operates on two completely contrasting rhythms between day and night. During the day, the island is a relentless workhorse. Unlike the automated industrial farms of Iowa, Farmers on the west coast of Ireland work on small-scale fields, their schedules dictated by the harsh weather. Meanwhile, in major cities like Dublin, their high-tech Silicon docks are just as productive and busy as Silicon Valley in California. But when the sun sets, all that hustle and bustle stops. In large American cities, evenings are often a time for people to take work home or continue glued to their phones. But in Ireland, life immediately shifts towards family and community. Pubs light up, becoming the social hubs of the town. In rural homes, instead of relying on modern central heating, people maintain traditional habits. They burn peat lumps dug from swamps in their fireplaces. It creates a distinctive aroma and provides a sense of absolute security when storms rage outside from the Atlantic. However, the picture of this nation is not just one of peace. They are facing extremely harsh economic challenges. The most serious problem is the cost of living and the housing crisis. Currently, the rent for a small apartment in Dublin is as expensive as in downtown San Francisco or Manhattan. The dream of home ownership is becoming increasingly distant for the younger generation in Ireland. This economic pressure creates a deep divide. The east coast of the island, where Dublin is located, is thriving and draining the workforce. Meanwhile, the rural areas on the west coast are experiencing a severe population decline, bearing a sad resemblance to the small towns in the Rust Belt of the United States. As young people leave, this leaves behind an aging population. The closure of the last post office or pub in the village is a devastating blow, shattering the very fabric of the community. Furthermore, there's the tourism problem. This island, with a population of just over 5 million, receives nearly 10 million international visitors annually. The influx of thousands of massive buses into small coastal villages directly threatens the natural landscape and inherent tranquility. Protecting linguistic heritage, controlling the wave of globalization, and addressing the severe economic inequality are major questions that the Irish people must answer if they want to preserve the soul of this land for future generations. So why do people choose to stay? In a flat world with countless opportunities for migration, what powerful allure keeps them on this small island on the edge of the Atlantic? The answer doesn't lie in abstract concepts. It's clearly evident in the structure of their daily lives. First, they stay for safety. Look at the Global Peace Index. Ireland consistently ranks among the top 3 safest countries on the planet, while the United States often struggles outside the top 120. The Irish enjoy invaluable freedom. It's the absolute peace of mind of raising children in an environment where the community network acts as a strong protective shield for every family. They stay for a slow, purposeful pace of life. In stark contrast to the frantic, exhausting work culture of American megacities, the Irish value peace. The pervasive tranquility of the countryside allows them to detach themselves from a noisy, chaotic world, to connect more deeply with nature and with themselves. And above all, it is an unbreakable bond with their homeland. This connection is very real. You can feel it in the Atlantic breeze sweeping across the hills, in the steady rhythm of rain tapping on the rooftops, and in the shared memories of a people who have survived centuries of storms without losing their identity. Their roots are deep and firm, like the massive limestone formations of the Burren. Today, Ireland is a testament to a rare balance, a nation that embraces the technological future while preserving its past heritage, a place that perfectly harmonizes wild nature with the warmth of community. Here, life is not measured by ostentatious moments or social media milestones. It is measured by the rhythmic cycle of the seasons, by the warmth of lively conversations over a beer, and by the simple beauty of everyday life. In a world of constant change and harshness, Ireland proves a simple truth. The greatest and most enduring strength always stems from community, from culture, and from the tranquil, timeless rhythm of life within this land itself.